One of the biggest complaints I and many Pixel phone users have with the Pixel software experience is that it is just so damn restrictive when it comes to home screen customization. Sure, if you're a fan of the stock Pixel launcher layout, then happy days, but for those like me who prefer a little more control over how the home screen looks, well, the stock Pixel launcher is not only really bad in this regard, it is actually literally the worst launcher to customize. That being said, there are some tricks that we can use that actually allow us to have quite a bit of control over how the Pixel launcher looks. And the best part is that we do not need to unlock root access to do so. And I'm gonna unpack all of them in today's video, so sit back, grab a drink, and let's get customizing. All right, let's not bury the lead here. We're actually gonna start by hiding this annoying at a glance widget. Yep, you heard that right. We're doing what Google should have done 5 years ago, and it's all thanks to an app called Smart Spacer. So Smart Spacer is a third-party app that is actually designed to essentially put the at-a-glance widget on steroids, but the best thing about it, in my opinion, is that it has an option to create a blank target, which effectively hides the at-a-glance widget completely. Now, you are only hiding it, you're not removing it, so you still won't be able to make use of that space, but it's far better than nothing, right? So to get this working, we actually need to first set up another app called Shizuku, which will allow Smart Spacer to access the necessary system API permissions that are required to tap into the at-a-glance widget. To get Shizuku to work, we first need to enable our phone's developer options, which we can do by coming into our phone settings, then scrolling down to the About Phone section, then coming down to the bottom where it says build number and tapping that 7 times until your PIN shows. Once you've entered your PIN, you'll see that it says that you're now a developer, and we can now come back and open up this system section here. Then if we scroll down a bit, you'll see this new developer options section. And with that now enabled, let's come back into the Shizuku app, and now we'll tap this option here where it says pairing, then we'll tap where it says developer options, then open this option here that says wireless debugging. If it's not enabled yet, make sure you enable it. But from there, we simply need to tap pair device with pairing code. Then you'll see a notification that says enter pairing code, and we just need to tap that and enter the pairing code on screen. And once done, we can tap submit. Now we can come back into the Shizuku app, then come back once, then tap here where it says start. And if all has gone well, Shizuku should become activated. And if you're unsure whether it's worked or not, just check up here. And if it says Shizuku is running, then you're good to go. Now we can open up the Smart Spacer app and go through the setup process, but when we get to this enhanced mode section, we want to toggle it on, then tap on allow all the time. Once that's done, we'll keep going through the setup process, which I'm going to speed up because it's just a bunch of hitting next over and over. But once complete, all we need to do is on this first targets page here, we need to tap here where it says add target, then open this drop down menu and then tap this blank target option. Then all we need to do is come over to the settings page, then tap on native smart space and toggle it on. Smart Spacer will then restart your phone's system UI, which will take you back to your lock screen. But check this out, once we unlock our phone and come back home, boom, our at-a-glance widget is completely gone. How good is that? There's only 2 things to keep in mind. The first of which is that anytime you reboot your phone, you will need to repeat the process of re-enabling Shizuku and then re-enabling the native Smart Space option. But as you just saw, it's not an awfully complex process and you don't even need access to a computer, so it's not the worst. And the other thing that I found is that sometimes the at-a-glance widget can reappear randomly. Often it's when you've changed your phone's wallpaper, for example. But if this does ever happen, the quickest fix is to reopen the Smart Spacer app, then come to the settings page, and then down to this targets and complications section. You just open that, and then I've found that switching this setting between do not hide and hide seems to trigger Smart Spacer to reactivate. From there, let's remove the default icons from our home screen, which we can do just by long pressing and then throwing them off the screen like this. And I really wish that Google would give us a quicker method for this, but notice how when I try and remove these dock icons, that they don't actually get removed, but get replaced with app suggestions instead. Well, to fix this, we need to long press our home screen and tap on home settings, then tap on suggestions, and we just need to disable this suggestions on home screen option. With that done, we can now come home and remove the 2 remaining dock icons, and we've now got pretty much a blank canvas ready to create our home screen setup. Obviously, it's not completely blank because we've still got that search bar there, but we'll deal with that a little later on. So let's now talk third-party icon packs, because even though Google doesn't offer us native support for using icon packs, we can actually still use them. We just need to use a widget creator app to create the icons instead. And by far, the best option for this is to use one of the oldest customization apps in the game, KWGT. Now, I actually showed how to do this exact same process in a video that I made earlier this year called How to Customize Your Phone Like a Pro in 2025. But for those who missed it, we essentially need to long press our home screen, then tap on Widgets, then search for KWGT. Once it shows up, we'll then tap to open it, and then we'll tap to add a 1x1 widget. Then we'll tap to open that widget, then tap on Create, and here we get our blank interface ready for us to create our custom icon. All we need to do is tap this plus icon here, then tap on Image, then we'll tap the image layer here, then tap on Pick Image. Now we need to tap the three dots here and then tap on Browse, then tap the hamburger icon, and now we just need to scroll down and open up our icon pack of choice, which for me will be my very own Drops icon pack, but of course, feel free to choose any icon pack that you like. But once you've opened it up, you then just need to use the search option to find your first icon of choice, which for me, I'll do the Play Store for the time being. So I'll search for that until the icon shows up. And once it does, I'll select it. Now I just need to swipe over to this touch tab, then tap the plus icon again, then tap here, then here again, and then select the launch app action. Then I'll tap this blank space here, then I'll swipe all the way through this list until I find the app that I'm after, which again will be the Play Store. So once found, I'll go ahead and select it. Then I'll come back twice and come over to the touch tab here, and I'm actually going to select this checkbox here and just delete it so that I don't accidentally open KWGT whenever I'm trying to launch my app. And that's it. All I need to do now is hit save, come back home, and there is our first custom icon. And what I love about using this method is that it behaves just as though it was a stock icon itself, complete with opening and closing animations that are identical to the stock icons. We can now long press that icon and reposition it to wherever we want on our home screen. And then you can just repeat that process with as many icons as you like. And once complete, through the magic of editing, you can have a home screen setup that looks something like this. And again, just check out these animations. Super fluid and honestly no different than if we were using stock icons. All right, real quick, just wanted to take a moment to talk about these brand new earbuds that I've been using recently called the Widgets, and a big thanks to Viaim for sending them over and for sponsoring this video. But if you haven't heard of them, well, they're certainly not your average pair of wireless earbuds. Now, of course, they get all the basics right, so they sound great with high-res audio and solid bass, and they even have active noise cancellation. But here's the part that makes them really interesting. They also double as an AI voice recorder. You just tap this record button in the case and it'll start a recording that actually gets stored directly to the case's internal storage. No need to connect it to a phone first. But if you do sync it up with the companion app, it can not only transcribe everything in real time, but once complete, it can also generate summaries, it can translate your recordings into different languages, and it can even pull out key action items automatically. On top of that, you're looking at up to 36 hours of battery with the case, which, speaking of, supports wireless charging, plus it has a compact design that makes it super easy to throw in your pocket. So if you're on the hunt for a new pair of high quality earbuds that also pack in powerful AI voice recording functionality, then the Widgets are well worth a look. Check them out using the first link down in the description below. Okay, from there, let's move on to custom grid sizing, because whilst what we've created so far is cool, the downside to this method is that we're still limited to the grid sizing options offered by the Pixel launcher, which is still pretty restrictive. So instead of creating widgets for every individual app icon, we can instead create one widget that houses all our app icons, which will therefore let us create essentially any grid size that we can think of. Now, I did also show this process in that same video that I mentioned earlier, so I'm not going to go into as much detail here, but to get you started, you essentially just long press your home screen again, tap on Widgets, and then search for KWGT. We'll then tap to add a 1x1 widget. Then we'll resize it all the way across like so, and then drag it right to the bottom of our screen. Then once done, you just tap to open it, tap on Create, and then literally follow the exact same steps that we just used to create one icon, but this time we're adding all the icons into this one widget. Again, I'm not gonna make you watch me do that, so through the power of editing, boom, there they all are. But like I said, feel free to watch that How to Customize Your Phone Like a Pro video if you want the full breakdown of how to do this. I've even gone ahead and set up notification dots, which again, I cover how to do in that video, but with everything set up and in place, I can just save it, come back home, and there we go. And honestly, even though the animations aren't quite as good as individual icons, it's still very fluid and very close, so it's well worth it as far as I'm concerned, given that it essentially unlocks unlimited grid sizing options. Now, the main limitation with using this widget workaround to create our icons is that we can't add widgets to this dock area. And because we can't remove this search bar, we're left with this really awkward gap between the search bar and our icons. You can obviously leave it as is if you like, but the best workaround that I could come up with was to create modified versions of my favorite wallpapers that essentially separated the dock into its own section. And as you can see, I did a fair amount of trial and error to get this right, but in the end, in order to make the whole process much more flexible so that I can change up my wallpapers and even the color of the dock on the fly if I want, I actually decided to create a KLWP preset, which I've included for free down in the description. But with the preset loaded into KLWP, all you need to do is come over to the global section. Then you can simply tap here to select a wallpaper that'll be active whenever your system light theme is enabled, which I'm just going to select the same one that's already set by default. But then you can tap here to select a wallpaper that'll be active whenever the system dark theme is enabled. Then in terms of the dock colors, I've actually set up the preset so that by default, the dock colors actually blend into the search bar, which I think looks pretty cool. But you can also change these colors too if you like, just by tapping on either of these options down here and moving the color wheel around to whatever color you like. But I'm just gonna leave it set to the default colors because I like the look of the search bar blending into this area. But with everything set up, I can now tap save, then set as wallpaper, then set wallpaper, and then home screen and lock screen. And when we come back home, look at that. Oh, and as you can see, our at-a-glance widget has become visible again, which, like I said, does sometimes happen, usually when you change your wallpaper. So let's just open up the Smart Spacer app, tap on settings, then come down and tap on hide sensitive targets and switch this to do not hide. And once done, when I come back home, there we go. Now, the final step here, if you want to make it so that this dock element gets hidden on your lock screen, you can use this app called Dual Wallpaper, but only select images for the lock screen wallpaper and not for the home screen wallpaper. You just do that for both your light and dark modes, then you turn it on. And with that done, when I come back home, as you can see, our dock element is showing, but then when I lock and then wake up the phone, it's gone. And again, when we unlock, it's visible again. Like I said, it's certainly not a perfect solution, but until Google either lets us hide this search bar widget or until someone can come up with a Shizuku method that lets us hide it using a backdoor method, this is the best that we're gonna get. Real quick, now that you spent some time in both KWGT and KLWP, it would be remiss of me not to mention that it's worth also taking some time to explore the world of third-party widget packs, because whilst we've just created our own assets so far, there are actually hundreds of KWGT and KLWP presets available on the Google Play Store that allow you to create some really cool and unique looking home screen setups relatively quickly. Again, I discussed this topic at length in that how to customize your phone like a pro video, so I'm not going to rehash everything here, but for example, this minimal weather widget that I've added, this is a preset that I use on literally every phone that I use. Again, if you want to see how to recreate this one specifically, then check out that video. Now, one last trick that I have for the Pixel launcher is to activate a feature that I know so many of us love about third-party launchers, the double tap to sleep gesture. And honestly, how Google still haven't added this feature themselves yet is beyond me, but we're going to make it work anyway by using an app called Tap Tap Lock. Once the app is installed and accessibility access has been granted, all you do is drag this top transparency slider down to 0, then disable this avoid screen flickering setting, then we'll come back up and tap here where it says widget and drag and drop this so it's sitting on our home screen. Then we're just going to resize it so that it fills this entire space here like so. And with that done, now when we double tap that area of our home screen, it'll lock the phone. And so those are really all the workarounds available to those of us wanting to use the stock Pixel launcher itself. And whilst it's still far from my favorite launcher for customization, in fact, it's still absolutely my least favorite, it's definitely a heck of a lot better than where we started, right? That being said, we still have this dodgy search bar workaround. We also lose access to long pressing apps to show app shortcuts. And we also have no customization over the app drawer. And so if you would like a proper solution that addresses all of this stuff, but at a slight cost to fluidity, then we've got to turn to third-party launchers. And here's the thing, for all the flack that I give Pixel phones for how awful they are in regards to customizing the stock Pixel launcher, I do need to give them some credit for actually being the best phones on the market in regards to how well third-party launchers work with them. In fact, I was actually using a third-party launcher for most of my time using the Pixel 10, and it was only until I started putting together this video and discovering all of these workarounds that I kind of started enjoying using the default Pixel launcher. But as for which third-party launcher I recommend, well, I've tried a lot of them, and as far as I'm concerned, there's really only 3 or 4 that are worth trying, depending on what you're looking for. My personal favorite up until just recently was Hyperion Launcher because it looks and feels very similar to the design aesthetic of the Pixel Launcher, but with all the customizations you could want. And then on top of that, it also has the smoothest app opening and closing animations out of every single third-party launcher that I've ever tried. That said, the app drawer has always been a little buggy and it doesn't get updated all too often these days, so that's something to keep in mind. But just recently, I decided to try a fairly new launcher on the scene called Octopi Launcher. And I gotta say, with a little trial and error, it's now vying for that top spot because it's very fluid, it offers stacks of customization options, and it is being updated all the time. I might even do a full video on this launcher sometime in the future, so let me know down in the comments if that's something that you'd like to see. The other two options that I recommend checking out is firstly Niagara Launcher, which is actually right up there with Hyperion Launcher in terms of offering the smoothest experience of them all. There's also Smart Launcher, which ain't bad itself, but both of these have quite different design aesthetics to the Pixel Launcher, so they aren't the ones that I gravitate towards, but they're definitely still worth checking out because they're also both getting updated all the time. But there you have it. That is how you can make your Pixel home screen look way cleaner than what is offered by default. Links to everything mentioned throughout the video have been included down in the description. And look, while you're down there, if you found this video helpful, then subscribing to the channel would be hugely appreciated. Aside from that, that's it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you later.